This is Tales from the Pros, where business leaders and influencers share their stories of inspiration, struggles, and successes. And I'm your host, Michael Giorgio. Hey everyone, welcome to Tales from the Pros, and this is Michael Giorgio, your host and co-founder of Imaginovation. My awesome guest with me here today is the CEO and co-founder of MedSnake Media. She is a stage 4 cancer survivor and is one of the top content creators on LinkedIn that has been able to generate hundreds of millions of views through her inspirational and insightful content and has a social following of over 260,000 people. She is an international Goodwill ambassador for public health, and she also serves as a global Goodwill ambassador. Please welcome Shanee Moret. Shanee, I really appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the invite. This is awesome. Thank you.
It's a good ending to a busy day, right? We talked about this earlier.
Yeah. I was supposed to be on here like earlier today, but I was stuck out of the office. But now I'm here, so that's all that matters.
No, it's good. No, I appreciate you. I know you're a very busy woman, and I know you're doing probably 1,000 things. So I'm very grateful for you to spend 30 or 40 minutes with me. So, and I want to start off, Shanee, of talking about your story. I know from I've been following you for a while now. I mean, well over a year and a half, and I love your content. It's very positive. It's very inspirational, and as I mentioned before, it's insightful. And I think a lot of people are learning from it, how authentic your content is. And I think authenticity it's not that easy. Sometimes it's hard for us to be ourselves on camera. Even for me, I'm guilty of it. I'm just like, what the heck do I say? Or what do I don't even know how to, it's crazy. But I think that's a gift that you have, and people are learning from it. So, I want you to talk a little bit about how you got to where you are today. We mentioned that you're also a cancer survivor, and you do, you are a successful entrepreneur. You own a company, but give me a little background of yourself and kind of why you're here.
Okay. So, the cancer survivor part, I grew up in and out of hospitals for about 10 years, hospitals in Miami. Mainly Jackson Memorial Hospital, and I was diagnosed at an early age with bilateral Wilms tumors. So I basically had cancer, like a lot of cancer in both my kidneys, an extremely rare type of cancer. And they told my mom multiple times that I was not going to make it. I was not going to, that her child was going to die. And I had to go through chemo and surgery, but that really, as a child, it impacted me to really appreciate healthcare and really appreciate the doctors, the medicines, the nurses that would help me feel better as I was healing. And I understood it from a patient perspective. I understood healthcare very early. So today it makes sense that like what we do, the creative that we do, the growth strategies that we do for healthcare, digital healthcare startups, or just healthcare companies in general. It's kind of a way for me to use my skill set to give back to the industry that helped save my life. So that was, that's part of like the cancer journey, but that really, and that's where copywriting, you want to talk about storytelling, I know in a little bit, but that's really where I couldn't go out and play like a normal kid because of the germs and stuff. Even my little sister would have to, wear a mask around me and stuff for a long time. So my first love was really like reading and writing. I would love to read. I would devour like books, like one book a day almost. And
wow.
And I would love to write, so because I couldn't really use my body. I had to lay down and heal and whatever, stay in the hospital. So I entertained myself that way. And that's really where, I guess my respect for healthcare and my love for writing kind of were born through, me having to go through that healing process.
Wow. So it seems like all the difficult times you went through, especially, going through cancer and all of that, it kind of gave you this, it's almost like it gave you this drive to give back back to healthcare, because that's, you're you're a health survivor. You
Yeah.
survived, a deadly disease, and you feel that it's almost like a blessing that you feel that you need to pour onto others. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know how I was going to do that. Like, getting out of college, going into college, even, I didn't know if I was going to do that by becoming a doctor. And my parents really admittedly wanted me to become a doctor, but there was just something within me that I didn't feel like that was my calling per se. I knew it would have to do something with healthcare, but really wasn't sure what that would be until I had my daughter. And that was 3 years ago. She'll be 4 in December. When I had my daughter, everything started to kind of fall together in terms of like, okay, healthcare. I could use my copywriting skills in the healthcare space, and and then that's kind of where, like, how I am where I am today started, like the foundations of it. But yeah, it just makes perfect sense. I really thought about it one day and I was like, wow, like, I'm so passionate about this. I could push so hard. I could perform high every day because I am passionate about it. But the reason I'm passionate about it is because, like, I want to help these companies grow so that they can impact patients' lives and help people live high quality lives.
That's good. It seems like you have really good intentions. I know you deal with a lot of
Yeah.
startups and even larger companies, and I do as well. And we, I'm not hearing this as much as I used to, but I have definitely heard it, that you get the startup and they have, they're very smart. They have all these great ideas, and they're just like,
Mhm.
we want to exit in a year or two, or we want to,
Uh-huh.
it's just like, oh man, here we go. It's the intention is to make money fast. And
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of the leaders that you follow, they talk about patience and
Mhm.
perseverance. I call it the
Mhm.
two P's, is patience and perseverance.
Yeah.
I think are some of the keys to success. I know success is all different. We all identify success differently. We all have our subjective views on success.
Mhm.
For me, it's not really monetary. I'm sure for you, it's not either.
Mhm.
Obviously, we have to provide for our families and for others,
Right.
but um, at the end of the day, when we die, we're not taking any of these things with us, right? We have to
Mhm.
leave something behind.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody that I was on LinkedIn Live with earlier, his name is Justin, and he comes from an incredible family, but that's another story. But he mentioned something, and he said that the person that has impacted him the most asked him what his dash was, and he's like, "What's a dash?" And the guy's like, "You don't know what a dash is?" And he's like, "No, what is that?" And he's like, like on your tombstone, it says like your birth date, and then it says like dash, and then it says like the day or the year you die. And it's like, what are you gonna live for? Like, what is your dash gonna be made of? What is the
Interesting.
legacy that you're gonna leave behind? And when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so powerful. So I'm gonna pass that on. Like, what is the listener's dash? And it should be more than money. It's incredible to have nice things, and to have nice
Yeah.
things, and to really take care of your health and your family's health, and have them, have a good education and stuff. There's a certain necessity for financial freedom and all that, finances, but your dash should be more than just money. And I
Hmm.
don't know. I'd like to pass that on. When I heard that, it was like pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is true, because I think when we focus on something like money, and I'm not saying people that have done this, it hasn't worked. I'm not saying that. I know a lot of people that have focused so much on money, and they're really wealthy. They're so
Right,
financially
right,
driven, and and it doesn't make them bad people. Nothing like that. It's just, at least for me, I can talk for myself. I don't want to rely on money, or on being fine, wealthy financially. I want wealth in here and in here.
mhm,
And for me, that's better, because I know if my intentions are in the right place. I always talk about motives on this podcast, and I think if we have our motives in the right place, then we're unstoppable. If
right,
we have the best
right,
intentions, no one can stop you, because you're so passionate. You're doing things for the right reasons.
right,
You can overcome, I mean, I think almost any
right,
struggle, any
right.
obstacle. So
And you'll attract a lot of people to help you on your journey. So I feel like when you have those pure intentions and that authenticity, people recognize that and they're more willing to, give their mentorship or kind of give you their guidance, especially if they're far more successful than you. That's kind of how I've come across my mentors, is that they recognize a certain, level of like, okay, she's passionate, her intentions are pure, and like, this is like a driven person. And usually successful people want to help driven people to succeed so that, they can work together with them in the future, so on and so forth.
Mm.
And yeah, that's really
Yeah,
important.
it's true, and talking about authenticity, and also in regards to your story, what what was the journey like when you first got onto LinkedIn? I know now you have a huge following. You're probably,
Yeah.
I don't know how you keep track of, like we talked about before, all the messages. I'm just like, how do you do that? You probably get thousands of them. But
Yeah.
essentially, what has it been like on LinkedIn as part of your story?
Yeah.
Were you always very aggressive with your content, or did you scale up slowly, or you were always doing videos,
Um,
or what was
Yeah,
that
that's a
like for
good
you?
question. So I started like looking on LinkedIn around July 2018, and it allowed me to get enough like freelance copywriting contracts that I was able to replace my income at my corporate employer, like through just my freelance gigs on LinkedIn. And so I knew there was business on the platform, but I didn't post my first video or my first piece of content until late November of 2018. And
Wow.
when I did, it did really well. But I kind of thought it was a fluke because you see how supportive people are on LinkedIn. So I was just like, oh, they're just being supportive because that's my first video, whatever. And then the next day I posted my second video and it did even better. And I was like, that's just my second video. Like, you know what I mean? It's just whatever.
Wow.
By the time it got to like my fifth video, like it just, all the videos kept doing better and better. So I was like, well, so what's going on here? Because I'm the type of person that I like to get feedback from people, whether it's our clients, whether it's my colleagues, whether it's my mentors, whatever. So I want to understand, like, I wanted to understand why I was getting these views, because the sound quality was terrible. I didn't, some of them I looked like a mess. And, so I just started asking people, like, why did you think this video was good? And in person and then in Messenger. And they're like, yeah, like the sound isn't the best or whatever, but it's what you're saying. And that was
Mhm.
like basically what everyone was getting to, is the message that I was trying to get across was like really cool. And also, a lot of people at that time, video was relatively new to LinkedIn, and especially the women on the platform were getting like
I remember
all their
that. Yeah.
makeup and dolled up and kind of like treating it like it was like a studio. And I just kind of grabbed my phone and was like, yeah, I'm just, wherever I was, I just did a video. And so they're like, oh, you're real. And so I kind of understood the power of video after like a week of it. I started getting like this like wave of like higher quality, higher contracts and stuff. And I was like, whoa, this can generate business.
Mm.
And again, I'm the type of person, like, whatever is going to give me 80% of the results, like I'm going to go in on, like, you know what I mean? I saw the results very early on. Um, so I just kept doing it. I stayed consistent, and there were like a lot of big people on the platform at the time, and I've just been able to surpass them in terms of growth and my growth rate and stuff. Not because um I do anything extraordinary, but just because I'm consistent. Like a lot of people fall off for a week or two or a month, and then
Yeah.
they try to get back on the horse or whatever. And I've just stayed consistent since that time. So that's really how it started. And if you go back to like my first videos, which I should like reshare like
You
a
should.
combination of them, but like you will see like the sound. I didn't even have an iPhone. Like the quality was so bad, but yet people really like the message. So
Yeah.
it was interesting.
It really is about the message. I mean, I'll tell you this. It's a little embarrassing, but well, not embarrassing. It's just you're wondering, why did I spend so much time and money on that? We've, for us, we used to have a video team, years ago,
Hmm.
and it was a great experience. But it was good for clients. We did a lot of videos for clients, which was great.
Mhm.
But when we did it for ourselves and we spent, thousands of dollars and time and hours,
Mhm.
resources, all of that, and you put it on YouTube or LinkedIn and you see like, it's like 80 views. You're like, oh yeah, yeah. You're like,
Yeah, and
why is
you're
it?
not.
It's so professional and it's not
Uh-huh.
yet, it lacks
Yeah.
in authenticity. And I'm guilty of that. I think we're all guilty of that. And then the ones where I didn't expect, I was just myself and I'm like, you know what? I can give two hoots about what people think. I don't care. I'm just
Mhm.
I have a good message. I'm passionate about it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put it on social media, and
Mhm.
that got better engagement. It's just
Yeah. Yeah, it's just also the psychology. We've just been so inundated with like ads and all of that. And there's actually a company that came to us, a healthcare company that came to us during the whole COVID thing, and they're like, I guess their marketing consultant had told them you have to do professional videos for your brand, whatever. They're coming to us for like advice on how to grow on LinkedIn because we help people do that. And I said it's only going to work. The people that follow my guidance grow at even a faster rate than I have grown. And it
wow.
doesn't matter, males, females, because in the excuse it was like, oh, you're just growing because you're like a girl on the platform. I've heard that a million times. Well, our largest client is a guy, so like, I mean, you know
That's a
what I
stupid thing
mean?
to
Like,
say.
yeah. But like I told them, you have to take like these authentic videos. We'll send you the scripts, like blah blah blah. And they didn't want to do it. They thought it was unprofessional for their brand. And I'm like, well, we can't work with you then because what you guys are doing, it's like what you're saying. They hired all these camera crews, all this stuff. They're posting it on YouTube and LinkedIn, and they're getting like 60 views, 50 views. And it's like you have to understand what people want. A lot of people make content for themselves, and it's kind of like, oh, I look good or whatever. You have to understand that's not what people are going to be able to resonate with or connect to. So
Yeah, I'm seeing a trend with a lot of the people I've interviewed on the show that do have an amazing reach on LinkedIn and even
mm,
in other platforms. And something common, a commonality that I see is they say that it's about others, it's about you.
yeah, yeah, I
And when
don't
you
make
change
content
that
for me.
itself,
Yeah.
it's some like reverse effect. It's like when you keep doing something for other people, you're going to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
You keep doing
Absolutely.
it, and even
100%.
if you don't, that's okay. You don't have to get it back. If for you to even provide inspirational content on LinkedIn, you probably help someone from maybe
Oh
even
yeah,
doing damage to themselves. I mean, in reality, right now
exactly.
we're living in
Yeah.
a world that is
Or
really,
giving up,
yeah,
giving up. I mean, I've had people message me like, hey, your message is like the only reason I got out of bed today. Or told I've never heard like, hey, I didn't commit suicide because of this message. But like, you never know how you're going to impact somebody or how
right.
your message is just going to give somebody that extra glimpse of hope that they need to like send out one more job application or go to one more networking event where they meet somebody that then their life will change. You know what I mean? and
Hmm.
and I really that's where feedback comes in. A lot of people, the mistake they make is that they continue to publish content. They're not wondering why their engagement is not going up. And that's something where I really recommend that people do. If your engagement is plateauing or it's just not compounding and not going up, you have to ask people like, why? What could I have done? You have to really put your ego aside. Like, how could I have made this message better for you? How it just means getting zero engagement means that people are not connecting with your message. So you have to like really have that humility and be like, okay, well, why are they not connecting with my message? How could I present this in a way where they can connect with my message? How is it going to help them? Like, if you don't put it around the consumer, which is basically the person on the feed, you have to give them a reason to stop and give you their time. You have to give them a reason to pause in their busy life to give you their attention. And the way you do that is you give them a reason to. You have to. If not, they're just going to scroll down and then come to somebody else's post and give them the attention that you should have had. So.
Yeah, it's so true. And I love when we talk about consistency. It's yeah, it really is. It's so true because, and I'll tell you this, I'm a case study. I have nowhere near the amount of reach or followers that you have, but I told you even before
Mhm.
before we started the interview, I've been consistent the last, I would say the last even 2 months. I'm very new to it still. Before I was on
Mhm.
LinkedIn, but it wasn't as much now. I'm probably spending,
Right, right.
I would say 3 to 4 hours a week on LinkedIn. I would say maybe
Mhm.
even more. I'm really focusing more on it.
That's good.
And I'm putting in extra time. And I'll tell you that my reach has gone up. And one post I even got over 1,000 likes.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, wow, it really is true. And some posts they'll get 7 likes or 10 likes. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to
yeah,
be every post. And I,
yeah.
I don't let that get me down. And I'm not even doing videos yet. This is just from text.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you
I'm
gotta
not
do
doing any
videos.
videos at all. I haven't done that yet. I still have that fear. It's not that I just sometimes I overthink it. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
what the heck am I going to talk about today? I do so much in my life. I have this tech company. I have this podcast. What should I talk about? In my posts, I have a content plan. I'll do something on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, inspiration or
Mhm.
storytelling or branding or, you
Mhm.
know. So I think a big part of it is don't overthink it. Just post.
Yeah,
You don't
it's yeah.
overthink it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, and it's just also like what all my content, like the way that I don't get burned out per se, because a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, how do you think about your content? And it's just like paying attention to like real life experience. So like if
mm,
I do a post about a friend, like I mean, people are calling me all day or messaging me on LinkedIn that they lost their job, that their employer treated them like X, Y, and Z. I'm paying attention to what's going on in my close circle, my family, and it's like you pay attention to your life, you're gonna like be able to like see these stories and be able to translate them in a way where it could help other people. Like,
mhm.
so that's what I do. So I don't have to like basically make something out of nothing. I'm just paying attention, and like it's funny because if I hear something or if I'm in a conversation with somebody and they share something with me, in my mind I'm like, okay, that's a post, and then I'll put it in my Apple Notes, and then I'll put it as like kind of like you're saying in a story form at a later time, but I'll like jot it down and stuff. I'm like always paying attention to like what
I do
could or
that
could
too.
not be a post. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
The
cool.
sun's like shining in my face.
Yeah, it is. It is on me. Yeah, I guess it's yeah setting. But no, I definitely do that. I'll have these ideas and I write it down. I'm like, oh, that's such a good post. I'm gonna post that
Yeah.
tomorrow. And I like what you do, Shanee, with your content. Is you don't. I know you have. We'll talk about MedSnake Media, and I want you
Mhm.
to talk a little bit about that. But um, with your healthcare marketing company, you don't
I know.
really talk about it a lot.
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting. So you see people that have this content. I've seen it. They're always talking about their company, and you're like, cool, okay. Like some of it's okay, but you're like, all right, all right, all right. For you, I wouldn't even know. I went to after I saw your content, so many times, and I found it engaging. I would see what you did. Boom, there's a
Mhm.
connection. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And that's how I found you. Now
Yeah.
we're connecting.
And that's
Pretty cool.
how, I mean, I could give you like so many examples, but that's how all of our clients, like 99% of them are inbound through LinkedIn, and that's what happens. They just resonate with the story or with the
Right.
video that I do. They don't necessarily know what I do, but they see me over the weeks or the months, and then they go on my profile. It's optimized for people in the health and healthcare industry, and then if they feel like they need help with growth or whatever, that's when they reach out, and I explain our services and stuff more on the back end. But one woman, we recently started her contract less than 2 weeks ago. She connected with me on a post where I was explaining that I don't feel like people need bachelor's degrees to like be receptionists or admins or salespeople. I think
Mm-mm.
that that's absolutely overrated and ridiculous. And she owns a grow company. She owns several nursing homes and home cares. And she was just like, that's my leadership style. That's how I've led in healthcare in the last 15, 20 years. That's why I have people that have been by my side for the past 15 years. And I loved your post. And it was just synchronous and serendipitous rather, that she also
Right.
was looking for marketing. And so that post led to an inbound lead, which led to conversation, which now we're working with her, and obviously have the opportunity, if we deliver well, which we will with this company. She has like 5 other companies waiting for us to serve her too. So I
Huh.
mean, that post wasn't about marketing. So that's kind of how I approach LinkedIn. I help as many people as possible through like big funnel kind of topics and stories, and then whoever I can help, they see my profile is optimized and then they reach out.
That's cool. Yeah, and I know MedSnake Media, the company, you and I believe two other you have two other partners. Is that right?
Yeah, just Courtney, and then we have
Okay.
like other people. You know what I mean? We have Andrea and Joy, and we have a whole team, marketing and billing side.
Hmm.
But yeah, but Courtney's my co-founder.
Cool. Yeah, and when you both founded this company, I know your target market is healthcare, which is good. You have this
Mhm.
niche market. You're not trying to do everything.
Yeah.
And you know, what is all that you do there? You know,
Okay.
is it just content, or it's, I know there's billing. You mentioned billing, and you
Mhm.
probably do content as well, and digital marketing, or more
Yeah.
content
So
side.
yeah, so that's a great question. The reason that Courtney and I co-founded this company to begin with was we connected on LinkedIn, and she was doing medical billing and credentialing. And if you understand healthcare, once a facility opens and can accept insurance, whether it's a nursing home that has residents or a private practice or a hospital that has patients, they need marketing, because so then they would be like, do you know marketing? Because now we have to get people in the door. And she was like, no, I don't. But once she met me, she started referring all her people to me. And I was like, wait a second, there's definitely like a need between credentialing and marketing. And we looked, it didn't really exist. So we created a one-stop shop where, a nursing home from full development or private practice could get their credentialing, because it's like a 6-month process to get that insurance. And
Right.
then once they open their doors, have that campaign start before they open to start their marketing or whatever. So if it's a new company, we really do everything from like, the branding, the website, like all of that. A lot of our clients, so let's say they're already an established company, or they're an older kind of business owner or entrepreneur that's starting a new venture. And what we do is we audit what their current marketing efforts are, because it's like in healthcare they rarely audit the efficacy of their marketing. So we audit what works and what doesn't, and then we kind of help create a custom strategy based on whether we're working with an in-house team or whether they're just outsourcing completely to us. It really
Hmm.
just depends. Some companies were like more like consulting, if it's like a big healthcare network, and then we're kind of collaborating with their in-house team, or like leading their in-house team on what to do. Other companies are just like, yeah, I don't even want to think about this, do it all. You know what I mean? So we
Yeah,
really
I
just
know.
tailor to the needs of the company.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
But it could
And
be
it,
like you're saying, video production, just content strategy. It could be us manning the whole campaign, like they don't even want to think about it. It could be that they want to learn, or that they want the in-house marketing department lead to learn, and we're kind of teaching them. It really just, there's so many different levels of like what we offer, that it's really just on a case by case. We can't fit all of them into one package.
yeah, you're giving custom packages based on
Yeah.
their needs and wants and expectations, and I'm sure with you and Courtney's experience, you're probably in essence you're guiding them as well. I mean, you have to. A lot of them are looking
Absolutely.
for guidance because,
Yeah.
I mean, we're all going to deal with clients that they have certain needs. They're going to say, hey, Shanee, I'm looking for storytelling video marketing
Mhm.
services. That's what I want
Yeah, and that's
with LinkedIn
amazing when they
content.
know what they want. But a lot
It
of them,
is.
it's sad because, and it's not even like the fault of the marketing companies either, but healthcare is such like a niche space that a lot of them, go to, or they're kind of convinced to get like a very expensive digital marketing agency. And a lot of the digital marketing companies work with tech and stuff, with people that basically understand clicks and all of the marketing lingo. You're dealing with healthcare. A lot of the people are older. They don't understand that. They need more hand walking. So then it's like they're paying all this money and they don't even understand what they're getting for it, or the or the marketing agency doesn't really understand healthcare, so they have to spend half of their time during the campaign educating them on like what they even really
Mm,
do in the healthcare space. And it's just like, it's a waste of money. So actually a lot of our clients come to us with the story like, hey, I just wasted 100 grand with X, Y, and Z, because either they didn't understand healthcare or we were just conned. Because they're so busy again, they don't have time to even manage their marketing vendor usually, or even check in on them. So they're just writing monthly invoices and not really understanding the value that they're getting in return until somebody goes, wait, we've paid this company 50 grand and what have they given us? You know what I mean? So then they come to us kind of like disenchanted and like the hopes, like, do you guys really understand healthcare? And that's where once we prove that we do, they're like, it's kind of like a sigh of relief. And
Yeah.
and we go from
That's
there.
cool. Yeah, I could see you guys probably having to get, because with healthcare, we talked about there's HIPAA compliant and there's all these laws and regulations, and especially let's just say you're going to be doing a digital campaign for a nursing home. So if you do that, and you want to, let's just say you want your videographer to go out and film patients, you're going to need to have slips signed and all the documentation and the policies approved and all of that. So you and Courtney are aware of that, but some other companies, they'll probably just move forward. They're like,
or they put it,
you can't just film my patients.
Yeah, exactly. And what happens is they kind of just wait for the slips to be done by the in-house staff. So now it's going to take 12 weeks instead of 2 weeks. And because we understand the space, I would be like, who's your chief nursing officer? Like, how can I make her job easier? This is the patients. I would go there with her and have her just like sign it right in front of me or whatever. Like, we really make them do as minimal work possible. Like even let's say like the videos, we go to them as much as possible. Because again, you're dealing with people in healthcare, they don't have time. So if you're like, yeah, we'll start the campaign when you send us the videos, you're going to be waiting for like months.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a difference.
They'll do it, but like you're gonna be waiting a long time for them. You know what I mean? And,
you got to go over there. You got to be proactive and
exactly.
Well, reactive and proactive. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So Shanee, we talked. We've been talking about storytelling here and there, and I know I've read through your content. You believe in the power of storytelling, and even in one of your articles, I think you wrote, you talked about a little bit about the science behind storytelling. Do you have? I don't want to put you on the spot and say, hey, what's your science to storytelling? But what do you consider for you? What are your storytelling methods that you've seen that are effective with all of the content that you put out, whether for your business, personal, whatever it is? What has worked and you're very confident about that has an impact?
Well, I mean, everyone likes a story where someone overcomes some type of adversity and comes out on the other side. That's just, I mean, people love that. And if you have that, you just have to understand how to position it. So I always tell people, like, the way that people don't even know their story. This is the problem. Like, people throw around the word brand and story and stuff, but a lot of people don't really have the self-awareness to even articulate what they can use and what they can't use in a story. And it really is like a fine art of vulnerability, because you want to be vulnerable enough where you allow people to resonate with you, but you don't want to be so vulnerable that they think you're weak or they think you're just completely out of line. So it is a kind of fine line, but basically a story of overcoming, a story where you have to overcome adversity. And that's how, like, you have to have a story also tied to your brand. So my story is important to our brand because I survived something related to health in healthcare. So it makes sense to tie that.
There's the connection.
Exactly. So I tell people, like, what have you overcome? What adversity have you overcome? How did you overcome that adversity? But how can you tie that to what it is that you do? So, there's people that, let's say, they had to overcome, let's say, living in poverty in their early childhood or whatever. And, they could be an accountant because that they're so passionate about helping people overcome poverty or helping people live higher quality financial lives, because they would never want them to deal with the suffering that they had to go through in poverty. Just, that's like a random example, but whatever it is that you have overcome, you have to really tie it to what you do so people remember it. On LinkedIn, there's a ton of healthcare marketers, but there's none that are using kind of their stories to like build their brand. And so when people kind of see my content and they don't really know what I do, then they go to my profile and they're like, oh, that's the girl that does marketing. You do that for long enough, whenever somebody needs marketing, they're going to go to my profile and message me.
Top
So
of mind. You're
yeah,
top of mind.
it's top of mind, it's drip, and it's just sharing stories, and you don't know what's going to resonate with people until you post it. So whatever works, like let's say the post that got 1,000 likes, like whatever the outlier is, kind of go back, get feedback. Was it like the spacing that you did? Was it the first 3 lines that, caught people's attention the most? Was it the last line? Like, I always love to get feedback so that I could multiply and duplicate those results. That's really what it's been for me. So if a post does incredibly well, I'm like, okay, why did people like that post? How can I do 10 more posts off of this style so that I could get my message out to as many people as possible?
And that's how you own your story. When I put that post on LinkedIn earlier, and I thought that was perfect for you. I was like, yeah, she owns her story. You have a sense of vulnerability in your post. You seem very authentic and real. You're honest, but at the same time, you seem very strong and confident. I think that's good, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we see even on LinkedIn, I would say, but I see it a lot on Facebook where I'll see someone post and I'm just like, I'll do my head like.
I know. So it's like that's where that line of vulnerability comes in, because you could twist the story of overcoming divorce into like a very heartfelt story where people can understand, okay, it didn't work out between these 2 people. You had to pick the pieces up. You had to reinvent yourself, and you had to make yourself stronger from something that didn't work out. You have to take accountability for what your part was and stuff like that. But you can't like bash your ex and stuff like people do on Facebook, because then people aren't going to respect that. So there is a line of vulnerability that people will respect and kind of see as strength, and then that people are like going to be like, okay, I don't want to even be involved with that. That's crazy. So yeah.
And it takes, you know what, Shanee, it takes a lot of guts to do that, because I'm hearing a lot from especially the top LinkedIn creators like such as yourself. I'm hearing there's a lot of haters now. I'm not getting it because I don't have that kind of reach yet. And if I do, I'm like, oh, that's a good thing. Cool. Come on, hate on me. That's good. It's working. Yeah. But it shows you're getting a lot of attention. I think that's a good sign. I really do. But it's just, it boggles my mind how there's people that have the time to comment on your posts. Like, go out and work. Try to close a deal. Go market yourself. Do something else. Why are you going to go comment on her post and say, oh, that doesn't seem truthful, Shanee, or this doesn't seem right, or it's just, it boggles my mind how people have the time to do that. It really does.
I know. And you know what? Some people, their strategy is to like go back and forth with them. If somebody like respectfully disagrees with me, I'm all for that. Like, not everyone has to have the same viewpoints as me or whatever. But like, if somebody's like disrespectful and just being like a hater on my post, like, their comment is going to get deleted, and then I'm going to block them. Like, I don't even engage. You know what I mean? That's just my personal method, though. Like, I know other people on the platform that get a bunch of haters. I actually go back and forth with them, and it's kind of like, I don't have time for that. You know what I mean?
It's such a waste of time. If you think about all the time we spent in our lives, or even in the past, on drama and things that are just, they're not productive.
Listen, it is what it is. And some of these people are kind of like, people forget how, I'm not this type of person, but like, people will screenshot what you post or what you comment if it's crazy, and they'll send it to their employer, and it's just like, people forget about that. But it's just, it's important to just be respectful. You don't have to agree with everybody, but if you're going to disagree, make sure it's just respectful. If not, you're gonna just get deleted and blocked. Like,
it's some crazy out there, but there was another article I read about I believe you wrote. It was on your LinkedIn profile, and it talked a little bit about growth marketing and digital, difference between growth marketing and just marketing. And how do you use growth marketing, Shanee, instead of traditional digital marketing to help your healthcare marketing business and healthcare customers succeed? do you think growth marketing is really what we need to be using moving forward for, for
Yeah.
ourselves and for our customers?
100%, because I mean, traditional marketing just looks at like attracting more customers and attracting more leads and kind of converting them into customers, and then from there it's kind of like the customer journey is like on somebody else, you know what I mean, whether it's a sales team or they don't really focus on like retention and referrals and any of that. What growth marketing really is like, we just did this with a private practice, is that we were putting out ads and they were getting like incredible results in terms of like calls, but the calls were not converting into appointments and we couldn't figure out why. So if we were just a traditional marketing company, I would have just been like, that's on your guys' management, you know what I mean? And that's what a lot of them do, like they just put it on the in-house staff. But we really wanted to get to like the root of the problem. So we called like the we did like some secret customer calls, and it just sounded completely off. So we're like, okay, there's a problem with the training. And then when we talked to the in-house staff, there was a complete disconnect. They didn't understand the software. The software was not even for their type of business. There was just so many issues that we had to rectify. So we had to rectify their software. We created training modules for the in-house staff in terms of like customer service. And once we rectified those issues, then the calls started to convert into customers. We had to create a monthly program so that their customers could, be retained through like a monthly membership. And then we also created a referral program because that gave more incentive for the current customers to then bring in their friends and stuff. But these were just questions, and a traditional marketing agency would have never known, because we went in there and we asked the girls at the front, we're like, what are the main questions that these people are asking when they come in here? And they're like, oh, they ask why we don't have a monthly membership. Oh, they ask why we don't have a referral program. They started listing this. They're like, we don't understand this software. We don't even know how to make an appointment on the phone, because the software kept like blocking them, and like they couldn't input addresses correctly. But when we looked at it, it was like not the software meant for that business at all. So it made complete sense. So had we not really looked beyond, okay, like, yeah, these ads are doing great, we have the proof that they're getting the calls, but had we not really started to question the whole customer journey and be like, okay, why are these calls not converting into customers, and why are, into appointments, so that they can convert into customers and be retained and then give referrals, then we would have never discovered those issues. So that's really, I feel, the difference between growth marketing and traditional marketing, is that it looks at the whole customer or patient journey rather than
the whole cycle. Seems like you guys fixed a lot of their processes.
100%.
That's cool.
If they have issues in the process, we will discover the issues, number one, because what happens, especially in the healthcare space, is that you have a lot of entrepreneurs that put in capital to create a startup. A lot of them are doing it based on data and like growth in the market, but they may not necessarily come from a healthcare background. And what they do is, to be able to operate, they find a doctor, and the doctor is paid a yearly salary. But a lot of the times the doctor has his own practice as well. So you're dealing with like a faceless brand, where the doctor can't really market his face all over it because he has his own practice, and where the entrepreneurs have the capital, but they don't really have the understanding of the healthcare space. So we look at the whole process, we find out where the holes are, and we do whatever it takes to fix them.
Wow. And when you do find an issue, I do have another question that I wasn't planning on asking this, but it's okay. I want to ask this. So when you do find an issue, let's just say you work with a nursing home and you're doing marketing for them, and you find that there's an issue with their not necessarily billing. I would say maybe with their client retention, for example. And you feel like, okay, we're generating all these leads from that, for them via LinkedIn or even through Instagram or Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads, whatever it may be, but they're not closing them. There's also a conversion problem. Okay, so when you raise that awareness to the decision, to the stakeholders at that nursing home, do you tell them that this is a charge? You're not going to do that for free, right? You're gonna tell them, like, well, we can do this for you. You just raise that.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, you're not going to just like.
Yeah. No, it would.
Okay.
That goes from like, hey, we're doing your digital stuff to now we have to do this management, and it's actually crazy because some of them are more open, and then so we actually had this come up with a big healthcare network where we were like, okay, this goes far beyond a marketing problem. You have to do this, and this. And we gave it to the head of the marketing department. And he was like, okay, like, I don't know if this is going to get approved because this is like above me. And it didn't. But it's crazy because their main conglomerate owner, that they're like owned by a health network that owns like 50 other hospitals in New York State. He called me, like, let's say 3 months later, and he's just like, listen, I know we only went with the marketing piece, but I just want to let you know, like, the main owners were here and they literally told us every single thing that you guys told us like 3 months ago that we had to fix, like down to the T. Like, but it was just like the CEO was not on board. Like, you can't. For some people, it's like we're dealing with the owners, with the investors and the entrepreneurs. For other people, we're dealing with like the CMOs, and then it's like a big healthcare network. So there are approvals that need to be had.
A lot of red tape.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of red tape. So in that deal, we only got approved for the marketing, but that's because there was a lot of red tape and stuff. But it was great to hear that validation that like the main owner of like all hospitals came in and was like validated everything we said. He's like, and they even asked like, what vendor is this? Because this is exactly what we're talking about. And he was
That's
like,
cool.
that's crazy. He was like more surprised than us. I'm like, we told you.
And you know what, Shanee, when you guys did that, when you raised awareness on certain issues, even though you may not get that upsell deal, sometimes they might say, oh, we don't want to invest in that right now. Even for you to raise that and catch those problems, that's going to create a long-term. That's definitely going to establish a longer-term relationship, because you're telling them, you're doing your due diligence, saying, hey, there's these problems. We can do that to help you. If not, you can do it in-house. No worries. But we're here to help you guys. So that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, listen. Like, good marketing is great. Great marketing is amazing, but like, marketing is not going to fix a bad process. So if you don't, and that's where like the growth marketing perspective comes in. If you don't fix your process and really have your people on board, like there are hospitals where like the paid advertising department doesn't even talk to the organic marketing department. It's like, what are you guys doing? You guys should be on the same page. You know what I mean?
Man.
But those type of things, like if they don't want to fix them or invest in fixing them, their competitor is going to eat them up alive, whoever does fix them. So it's, but yeah, we deal with more, thankfully, we deal with a lot of entrepreneurial minded owners where we're dealing with the owners directly. But that was a great question. Sometimes we're dealing with a lot of red tape, and, it is what it is.
Yeah. And it's very interesting to see how, not even just in healthcare, but some of these other more blue collar type industries like construction and contractors and all that, where for at least in a digital perspective, like a website, or even if they want content marketing or SEO, a lot of them when they would come to us, for my company, for an app or a website, like, well, we haven't upgraded our website for 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
It's just it's mind-boggling. And then some of them, they don't even know, they haven't relied on Google for anything. And a lot of their users, their audience is on Google or on LinkedIn. They've done nothing on LinkedIn.
Like, maybe the company was started especially in development. I know about that.
Yeah.
Like that is just like old school connections and then bidding and going into their construction programs and stuff. But what the main benefit I feel that at least we've experienced that COVID kind of really put in people's brains is like, whether you want to or not, like people have realized the value of having a presence online, whether you're a chef or have a
Absolutely.
pizza parlor or have a construction company or have a plumbing company or have a digital health startup or private practice. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're in, I don't care if you're knitting for a living. Like if you don't have an online presence, like how are you going to reach your target audience from
You're not
now?
going to be with the times. You're not going to be
Exactly.
with the times. You're
And a
gonna
lot
end
of
up being
people
like
were waking
Sears
up
or
to
Toys
that.
R Us. Yeah.
A lot of people went out of business because they didn't have an online presence. A lot of the people that were hesitant, way hesitant to get an online presence in the past, got into panic mode, started contacting us, and were like, "I'm all in." You know what I mean? Because they realized like, if I can't leave my house, how am I going to reach my target audience?
Right.
And it is what it is.
Well, because Shanee, the issue is a lot of businesses, even large companies, as we talked about, they get very settled. They see the
Mm-hmm.
money coming in,
Mm-hmm.
they plateau, and they end up when there's something like this, a world disaster, something happens. Um, they don't survive because they don't
Right.
know how to work from home. A lot of they have no idea.
Right.
Some of the older generation I've spoken to, they had no idea how to work from home.
I
They're like, we
know.
don't even know what to use. We don't
I
know
know.
what to
They
do.
didn't even know
Zoom.
how to use Zoom. I know. Even the professors, look at all the professors. Like, I mean, people were making fun of like the memes and stuff, but a lot of the professors needed training on how to even do a class from Zoom.
Yeah, that's a good point. So true.
Yeah, and that's like an educated audience, you know what I
I
mean? And they
know.
were having like, I mean, the kids are savage, so they were posting like memes like, yeah, my professor's been on mute for 20 minutes. Like, sir.
This is funny. So quick little story. My nephew is he's actually 7 now, and he's so smart. So he says he wants to be a YouTuber like his uncle Mike, and I'm not a YouTuber, but he likes to say that. It's funny. But they have these Zoom meetings with with his teachers and the other students in the class, and the teacher was or he so his name's Alexander, and he said
Mm,
basically that he's like, yeah, my teacher couldn't even find the record button, and I had to
yeah,
tell him where it was.
yeah,
He didn't know
yeah,
where the record button was.
yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of them have had struggle even, adapting to that. So, but there is a tremendous opportunity for them to, grow and stuff with the companies and the decision makers, even that really want to just stay ahead and in front of their audience. They really realize like, wow, I better work on my online presence. I better, because if not, like, how are we going to reach our customers, clients, patients, whatever it is, if we don't have a presence online or a story, because that's what people connect with.
So true. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, this has all been great, Shanae, and
Yeah.
I do have I always end with this last question. So I know we talked a little bit in a pre-interview, but so for you, you have a very inspiring, interesting story. How would you define Shanae's story in one word? What would be your one word?
It would be perseverance.
That's just
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
If you see some of my posts, like I
Yeah.
think 2 weeks ago, I put my one word is perseverance, and some people
Yeah.
put connection or
Mhm.
struggle or I love it.
Yeah,
I think I gotta share that.
it would definitely be perseverance, because there's good days, there's bad days, there's days where you don't feel like doing anything, but you have to, and it's just about pushing and persevering through the struggles, the good times, the hard times, and um,
Yeah,
just pushing forward. It is what it
love
is.
it, love it. Well, this has definitely been
Thank you
an
for the
honor and some.
invite. It was great. It
Yeah,
was a very
absolutely.
natural interview.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. And this is so cool to just be able to connect like this and find each other on LinkedIn. I think
Mhm.
it's great. It's good to even just build the trust and the long-term relationship. I think is so important,
Absolutely.
especially today in this crazy world. There's just a lot going on, so we need a lot of connections and relationships and positivity and
Yeah.
inspiration and I think great stories like the one you just told us about. So I think that's
Thank you so
pretty
much.
amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Shanae, where can everyone find you? Your website and obviously
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, LinkedIn, and then our website is www.medsnakemedia.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram too, so any of those places.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much again. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful
Well, I
for being
appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. It's my honor. Hopefully we'll do it again. Maybe we'll do like round 2, round 3 interview.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I appreciate everyone for listening. Thank you so much. And again, this is your host, Michael Giorgio on Tales from the Pros. And until next time, thank you guys. Please subscribe to our YouTube page and also follow our social media. There are links somewhere around here. But we really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for all the support. And I'm going to be giving you awesome content continuously. And we look forward to seeing you soon.